Okay, happy Wednesday. Good morning. Lovely to see you. So we're going to begin lying back, and if you've got a strap, just have it nearby. So just somewhere by your hip. And you have the option to just keep the legs nice and straight, or you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees go wide in a nice hip opener, Baddha Konasana. Yogi's choice. Great. Okay, shuffle the shoulders towards one another. I like to take my arms nice and wide. Especially when I take this diamond shape with my legs, I think it's quite nice to have a cactus shape to the arms, or even catch your elbows or wrists above the head. Either way, just find a shape that works for you this morning. And remember, if this is a little bit intense, just place a cushion or something small just underneath your outer thighs. It really takes the edge off and just allows you to keep the shape with a little bit less effort. Take a big breath in and sigh it out. Let's do 2 more. Big breath in and let it go. Last one. Real deep, rich inhale. And then sigh it out. Good. So allow the lips to close and just come back to a natural breath. And let's just find a little bit of stillness if we haven't already. So make those last little adjustments and fidgets you feel you need to. Try to soften the skin around the eyes and the cheeks, the jaw, tops of the shoulders, those places that naturally just hold a little bit more tension over time. I said a bit earlier in the week, and I think this is going to be my theme for classes in November, this idea of our perceptions and perspective. The quote I used at the beginning of the week was, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's one that kind of makes you think, doesn't it? But essentially what it's trying to say is that in life, things happen that aren't ideal, they're out of our control. And we have to feel them, we have to be with that emotion or in that space. But then we do have to change the way we look at these things, see them as part of our journeys. So that's what that quote means. And it doesn't happen straight away, and it doesn't happen without effort. But we've got to try to find, maybe we could call it the upside, or something it's giving back to us, whether it's a lesson learned or an experience of emotion that maybe without we might not feel other emotions. I often have said in the past, there's a big spectrum of feelings, and we have to go to those both ends in life, right? From joy to pain, from happiness to sadness, and everything in the middle. So that's what I want you to think about as we go into this new month, this idea of our perceptions and how we perceive things. When you're ready, if you haven't started to, just find the breath. Notice how it's moving this morning. Where can you feel it? And if you want to use this as an opportunity to take the hands to the belly, you can. Once you've found your breath, really connect to its entire journey, and we'll take a few counted breaths together just to get in sync. Trying to make our breath as deep, as long, as smooth as we can. Nice long exhale whenever you're ready. Breathe in for a count of 1, 2, 3. Breathing out for 3, 2, 1. Keep that up, guys. Big breath in. And a nice steady breath out. Big breath in. Good. On your next breath out, just guide the hands to the outer thighs. And on your inhale, bring your knees back towards one another, soles of the feet to the floor. Just heel toe the feet so they're hip width and parallel, and that should feel pretty nice to bring the knees back up. And then just take the knees from side to side, just a little sway here, a little sway there. And again, try and stay with the breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, sway. Inhale, center. Exhale, sway. Good. Back to center. Bring the right knee in towards you. Give it a little squeeze. Maybe you're moving the foot a little by just pointing, flexing the toes, maybe giving the ankle a couple of circles. And then this is where you can loop the strap, or you can just hold the back of the leg. So option 1 without the strap is just to kick the heel up to the sky, holding the back of the thigh or wherever is available. Try and keep the head, neck and shoulders down. If you want to use your strap, it's just going along the ball of the foot. It just takes that edge off having to reach for the leg. You can kind of soften into the shoulders and the upper body. And you might just be able to kind of play around with the stretch a little bit more by using the strap or whatever you've got to hand, whether it's a dressing gown, rope or a tie. Just try your best to get the prop across the ball of the foot and really drive the big toe, the base of the big toe, the ball of the foot towards you and the heel away from you. So you've got this kind of flex to your foot as well as the extension of the leg and the pulling on the strap. Check in with the left leg as well. Make sure that's not floppy. It's nice and grounded. And just take a couple more breaths here, really focusing on the exhale to go a little bit deeper. Good, and then listen carefully. Take your strap into your right hand only, so both parts are in your right hand, and you're just going to extend that leg out to the side. And if you're using your hands, you're probably going to have to bend your knee and just take it out to the side with a bent knee, unless you can grab something like the big toe or the ankle. Now, as for this left leg, it's probably going to feel a little bit more stable if you extend the heel away. So it's like we've got a number 7 shape with our legs now. Right leg is out to the side, left heel's kicking away. And your body might want to naturally roll to the right. So use your left hand to really plug your left hip down and then plug your left shoulder down to the earth. So we only want the right hand with the strap or with the right leg. The left arm is going to really help you ground down through the left side body. Same thing with the heels though, drive them away. Curl the toes towards you. Take a couple more breaths here. See if you can get that leg out to the side a little bit more for 3, for 2. Good, on 1. Back to center. Try and keep the leg as active as possible. And then soften into the knee and just take the blade edge of the foot into your left hand and just kind of sway that leg across the body. And you might stay here, or you can come into your figure 4. So you're going to rebend the left leg and you're going to place the ankle onto the thigh and you're going to stay here. Or if you want to go a bit deeper, you're going to pull that knee and ankle in towards you. Or if that's a bit much first thing, you can just kind of stay with that little sway. We're going to come into pigeon or figure four at the end. So it might be that you just take this one a little bit easier. First thing. Good, we're here for 3, wherever you are, your version of figure 4, for 2, nice, on 1, back to neutral, so both feet on the floor, knees bent, and a little sway. And you should feel a significant difference from right hip to left hip now, yeah? Right, let's balance that out. So left knee's going to come in, right leg's going to be nice and stable. Give the knee a little hug to begin with. Circle the toes, point and flex. Give that foot a little bit of movement. And then kick the heel away, either holding the back of the leg or looping the strap around the ball of the foot. I was doing some toe exercises the other day. Gosh, they were hard. Trying to move each individual toe. Very hard. I might bring them into a class next year. It's funny, my brain was going, move your second toe on its own, and it just couldn't. But it can with time and practice. That's the point. Well, I'm trying to prove that first before I teach it. So remember what you know, last couple breaths, drive the heel, curl the toes, pull on the strap or the back of the leg. Nice, and then when you're ready, take the strap into your left hand, ease off a little bit, extend your right leg away and start to guide that foot out to the side. So you'll feel this around the back of the leg, but also we're hopefully feeling it in the inner thigh. Keep both legs active, so really drive both heels away. Right side of the body needs to stay grounded, so really press down, using the right hand, right shoulder to plug the hip. Couple more breaths for 3. Focus on the breath. That exhale's the 1 for 2. Good. Back to center. Nice and steady, nice and slow, no rush. Give the knee a little hug. Let go of the strap. Keep the knee deeply flexed before you guide the blade edge of the foot into the right hand. And again, your version of figure 4. So you might want to stay with these like sways, like we're getting ready to be in figure 4. I kind of like these sways. Feels like they really get into my outer thigh and hip. Or a little bit more stationary, place an ankle on the thigh if you want, bringing the thigh and ankle towards you by lifting the right foot off the earth. Lots of options. Come back to the breath. Have we still got that smoothness, that deepness? Good. One more breath here. Great. And then release. Let's keep the feet off the floor now and just draw some circles with the knees. Remember, you can start off pretty small and then you can get a little bit bigger. Have a go at changing directions. If it feels too much doing them both at the same time, just do one at a time. That's always an option, yeah, to scale these things down. If you're doing 2 arms, 2 legs, feels too much, you just break it down into doing 1. Great, and then yogi's choice, you can either come into like a happy baby and roll up from here, or you can roll to one side and push up from a sideways motion. If you're taking like a happy baby, whatever you've got hold of, you're just enjoying a nice roll along the spine. You might even hover when you get to the top. Some of you might even want to kick out for 3, for 2. Lovely, on 1. Cross the ankles. Let's come to tabletop, all 4s position. Okay, so you know the score here, a little bit of movement. Just through the spine. Good, and anything that feels good. Great, and we'll come back to those circles. So let's start off with the right leg. So just hover the right knee to begin with and These circles will feel a bit different now. Gravity's in place, body weight's taking hold. So they'll feel a little bit more sticky. Try and get them as smooth as they were when we were on our backs. And then when you feel ready, you're going to step your right foot outside your right hand. So the toes are going to point to 1, 2 o'clock. Shuffle the foot forward as much as you feel comfortable with. If the floor's really far away, this is where your bricks come in. Yeah, you just bring the floor to you, prop yourself up on a brick, and you're just going to stay in your lizard, okay? So this is lizard, hands inside the foot, toes turning out a little bit, and just breathing here, just getting into it. And if lizard is like, hey, I'm cool here, I really like it, it feels good, you can add a little twist just to warm up the spine and the shoulders for your day. So you can bring your elbow in, tap the ankle, and then you can lift it up and just do that a few times. These are lovely stretches for the morning. Looking up to that new perspective above you. Good. And then when you're ready, and you've done about 5 of those, heel toe this right foot in towards you and bring your right hand outside your right foot and just start to move forwards and backwards with the hips. Now remember, if the floor's far away, you're padding your bricks forwards and backwards. Yeah? Don't be afraid to use these bricks, they're great. We don't want to be rounding the spine and compromising the spine just to get our hands to the floor. Okay, next time you're forward, you're going to stay forward. You can stay here, or you can lift the torso a little higher, bringing the hands to the front thigh, hands to the low back. Maybe your arms are going to reach up. Again, what feels good for you this morning? The idea is we're bringing this left hip forward. So we're trying to get a nice stretch into that hip flexor on the back leg. Bit of stability through the front leg, but it's a stretch for your back leg, your back hip flexor. Keep hugging this right hip back. Come back to the breath if you've lost it. Just check in with it for 3, for 2. Nice, on 1. Ease the hips back, float the hands down. Come into this little kind of half splits position. So you're folding over your front leg. You're trying to get that nice and straight. It might not be straight, but we're aiming towards. You're hugging this right hip back. You're driving the right heel down. Your back leg is nice and stacked, hip under knee. And you're like leaning into this stretch as well if it feels okay. Intense through the hamstring, hopefully. Maybe a little bit through the calf. How's the breath? Last 3. Last 2. Good, on 1. Now listen carefully, we're going to try something new. So bring your hands forward, reframe your front foot. So your back leg, you're going to take your left foot, that should be your back leg, and you're just going to kind of push it to the side or point it to the side. So it's at a little bit of an angle, yeah? It's kind of pointing to, if we had a clock on our mat, it's pointing to 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. Ground down to your left hand, heel toe this right foot all the way around the long edge of the mat and come into a supported side plank, okay? So that angle of your left shin and foot is going to help your balance. If you keep it straight, you're going to wobble all over the place. That's why it's got that angle. Good, and then from here, just bring the top hand to the hip. You're going to dip your bottom hip to the floor and then you're going to lift it up. So hopefully we're feeling a little bit of a stretch on the outer left hip and thigh as we dip up and down. So it's almost like you're trying to bring the hip down to the earth and then back up. I'm a bit too close to the back, there we go. So dip it down and bring it up. If you want, you can move the arm with you. So as you come up, reach it up. As you come down, float it. Good. So this is called, it's a version of Shiva's twist. Great. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. Good, on one, let's come back up and let's just turn to face the mat again so we come back to tabletop. Great. Hopefully we got that one. So from here, if you want, you can lift now into a downward dog. You don't have to stay in your tabletop. Option to downward dog and walk out the legs again. One side will feel different to the other. Good, and then when you're ready, drop the knees, hover the left knee off the floor. Draw a few circles with the left knee. And then when you feel ready, your left foot is going to step outside your left hand. Shuffle it forward as much as you can and come into your lizard. So remember what you know. Your bricks are coming underneath your hand to keep you nice and stable. If this feels pretty comfortable, you've got the option of keeping the right hand down and doing a few little twists with the spine. Inhale, reaching up and looking up. Exhale, coming down. Just do about 5 of those. Sometimes a little bit of movement helps us to keep the breath. Great, once you've done 5, come back to hands to floor bricks. Heel toe your left foot in, reframe your left foot, and then when you feel ready, come up into your low lunge. So send the hips forward and lift the torso. Good. Resting the hands wherever feels comfortable, maybe reaching them up. Yogi's choice. If you're sitting down at your desk all day, maybe really think about drawing the shoulders back, pulling the heart through, as well as enjoying this stretch on your right hip flexor now. Good, when you're ready, come back to center, release the hands down, send the hips back, and come into that straight leg on your left leg. Remember, floor is far away, prop yourself up, 1 brick under each hand. Really makes a difference to some of these postures. Be mindful, we're nice and level in the hips, left hip is hugging back. We're coming forward maybe over that leg. For 3, for 2. Good, on 1, walk the hands forward. So we've got this little snazzy stretch now. So your right toes are going to point off the mat. You're going to heel toe your left foot down the mat and away. And you're going to start to dip that right hip up and down. Good. The left leg actually isn't that much of a problem. If it feels a bit better, or to just keep it out in front of you, that's also an option. Yeah, it doesn't have to be out here. That's just me. So it's the bottom leg that we're working. So if it feels a bit more stable, you can keep this top leg just at kind of like a right angle out in front of you. It's that bottom hip and outer thigh that we're dipping to the floor, and then we're lifting back up. Last 3, last 2. Good, on 1, come back up, face the mat, downward facing dog or a little child's pose. I don't mind, whatever feels right for you this morning. If you're in downward dog and you want to do any movements like a vinyasa, you can. But we're finishing with pigeon or figure 4. So really be honest with yourself here. So your first option is figure 4. So that's what we did at the beginning of the class. So you're going to come to your backs, you're going to lie down, doesn't matter how you get there, and you're going to come back to figure 4. Right ankle on top of right thigh. Now, a level up from this is pigeon. So if you take a look at your right leg, we're going to do that exact same shape with the right leg. We're just going to use the floor instead. So from downward dog, drop the knees to tabletop, right knee to right wrist, Right ankle to left wrist, and look at your right leg. It's in the exact same position as figure 4, but all we're doing is we're increasing the stretch by using the floor to get a little bit closer and deeper into this stretch. So pigeon is option 2, figure 4 is option 1. And the thing is, with pigeon, you've got the whole of your weight on the leg. You've got more of an angle to the outer hip as well, and the glute. So it's much more intense. Yogi's choice though, figure 4 or pigeon, just for the last couple minutes. Good. Come back to the breath. Nice, okay. Wherever you are, you're just going to change sides. So if you're in your pigeon, bring your hands back up, tuck your back toes, shuffle the legs a little, slide it back, either downward dog or a child's pose or walk it out, whatever feels good, cat, cow. If you're lying on your back, you're just gonna kick your legs up to the sky or swish the knees, move around a little bit and go straight to the other side. So those people lying down, bring the left knee in, take the left ankle onto the right thigh and come into your figure 4. Remember, picking up the foot, bringing it closer will make it a little bit harder as well. So that's kind of like a level up towards pigeon. Those of you doing pigeon on the other side, left knee towards left wrist, left ankle towards right wrist. Ease yourself down and we'll just be here for a minute. So wherever you are, maybe close your eyes and just focus on the breath. And if you find the mind wandering, possibly direct it somewhere for a change. Let's think about our perspective on life, on situations, on relationships, interactions, whatever's going on at the moment for you. I don't mind if you have a zoomed in situation or you're just looking at perspective a little bit more zoomed out. But what can you challenge? What can you just consider a little differently this month? Maybe you've got a work project that you're having to kind of slog through. It might be something like that and you're like, right, okay, I got to get through this. I'm not enjoying it, but what can I learn? You know, there's a shift in perspective. It doesn't have to be anything too significant. It might be just something day to day. Is there something you do every morning that's part of your routine that is a bit of a nightmare? How can you shift your perspective on it? If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. All right, let's ease out. So either way, however you want to get out of wherever you are, we're going to meet back seated. So do some little moving around and we'll just join back in a comfortable seat. You might even come back to that diamond shape. Sitting up nice and tall. Remember to sit on a brick if you've got tight hips, always, yeah? So if you've got tight hips generally, always sit on a brick. Just that's your seated position on a brick, yeah? It will help. Look at that angle, gravity. Sit tall, give yourself a shoulder roll. Lower the chin to the chest with the eyes closed. Just take a couple of moments here. Go gently into the next part of your morning. Go slowly with mindful intention about everything you're doing, or as much as you can. And when you feel something niggling or something being annoying, challenge the perspective. Have a good day, guys. Happy Wednesday. I'll be on the screen tomorrow. but then I'll be getting cover for Friday and Saturday because it's time to get this wisdom tooth out. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and then Friday, Saturday will be it'll be Hatchell, Claire Hatchell probably. I don't know if Hatchell's there this morning, but yeah, it'll be Claire. All right, thanks guys, well done.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Nice to see
Nikki.
you guys.